Another one? What's with these guys?
Hello, everyone, and of course, welcome to Red United TV. It's your boy, Ivorian Spice. We are back at it again. Yes, it's the catch-up. It's been a long, extensive break since this podcast took a break at the end of the year. We are resuming towards the end of the season as well. It is what it is, man. Smash that like button, guys, and share across all social media platforms and get yourself involved in the comments as well as everyone gets ready. We've got Uche in the house and Jerome in the house in the background waiting to be introduced. And of course, Ola and Amuk should be joining us. But if they don't, us three can carry the show. It doesn't matter. But a lot to talk about. Manchester United, 0-0 in the Manchester Derby. As you can see in the title there, Spiritless Manchester Derby. And of course, Gary Neville going on his rant. Gary Neville believes there's 5 players who are not worthy of wearing that Manchester United shirt. And of course, we will get the response of Ruben Amorim, who also spoke on Gary Neville's little rant against Manchester United. It is what it is, guys. Sit back and enjoy. We've got the next hour. Let's get straight into it. Let me just introduce you to the panel. We've got Uche, we've got Jerome as well. We've got Jerome and Uche, and so much to talk about regarding our team, Manchester United. Like I said before, like I said earlier on, we're still 13th, bro. We are still 13th. Nothing has changed since the last time you saw me doing this podcast. He was 13th at the end of the year when left. I think it was 14th. But now we've just improved by one position. 13th now, man. Big up to every one of you guys. Uche, Wagwan, how you been? First of all, before I get to Jerome.
Man, it's been great. It's good to see you. Like I said, it's been a while. It's been a minute. It's good to see you. And it's good to see Jerome back in here. I'll say I'm really excited and I'm looking forward to this. Despite not really excited as what our performance has been, but I'm excited to be here to discuss about this.
Exactly. Jerome, if you don't mind, if you just tilt your camera a bit down so you can be a bit level. Yes.
Yeah.
Bro, man, big up to you, big bro.
Yeah, I'm all good, man.
It's all
big up,
good,
guys, man.
It's
good to be back in that. Like you guys said, it's been a minute, and we haven't had that much good news over the last few months, but we're just gonna try and just plow through this season basically and just see where it takes us.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see where it takes us. Let's get cracking, guys. We've got no time. We don't have time to waste, man. Let's go straight into the match review because it is Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0, Manchester Derby. The most lackluster derby we've seen in a very long time, guys. I'm gonna let one of you guys take the show, lead the show of this on this segment, man? Who wants to take the lead and give their thoughts on that game? And then we carry on.
Yeah, I can give my thoughts.
Okay.
But I must say that obviously you know already that I didn't watch the full game. I watched the highlights because I was out all day on Sunday. But from what you guys said in the group chat and what I've seen and read up in the media, it didn't look like I missed much on the full game. To be fair, it looked like it was a dull 0-0. And from the highlights that I saw, we did create a couple of chances, but we just don't have that clinicalness in front of goal. In the final third, we got issues with our attack. But on a positive note, it looks like our build-up play is improving, and our defense is looking pretty solid. To be fair, even though we've got a minus goal difference currently, the defense is kind of holding up strong. Also, we've got issues in the keeping area, but obviously that's a subject for another day. But all in all, it was a dull game, and there wasn't really that much to show in the highlights, and it showed because it was two teams didn't really have that much to play for in terms of the Premier League. Obviously, City are challenging for the Champions League places. I think, depending on how we perform in Europe, the fifth place might be able to get them in Champions League, but I think they're just going to try and get that top four to be sure. So fighting for top four and fighting for the title is totally two different things, and you could see in their energy levels that they just weren't quite their normal selves, even though they've dropped off. And for us, all our eggs are in the Europa League basket. Being in 13th, 14th place, like we're just in the wilderness. Like I don't think there's any chance of us getting into the top half of the table. So it's just like see out the remaining Premier League games, don't get embarrassed, and then see what we can do in the Europa League. But in the first half, I saw Garnacho got put clean through on goal, and he got taken out by the City player, and I can't remember who it was, but he got taken out, and then obviously we had a free kick. It didn't lead to much, and I remember there was a pass from Bruno. It went up to Garnacho, it went up to Ugarte, who missed it, and then Garnacho couldn't direct his header, and it just looked like he just fluffed his lines. And I remember Ugarte having a chance in the second half as well. It was off target, but it was a decent chance. If someone else that could shoot, that would have most likely have been on target. Maybe not in the net, but it would have tested the keeper. But chances were few and far between, and you could tell by these stats. I think we had that 0.9 something expected goals, so there wasn't that much clear-cut chances. And City had a few chances of their own, and I think on reflection, a draw was a fair result for two teams that weren't really at it. And it wasn't a derby to remember, to be fair.
It was a shit derby to remember. Oche, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, so I put it this way: from where we were to yesterday's game, I would say there was a massive improvement. Yeah, I know this is not what the kind of derby that we expected. We need to see more of maybe festival of goals, having the numbers going up, having a real drill between two teams, trying to catch up. But if you look at from the United side of things, that you see that you can visibly see the structure in place from the boys. You can see that they actually stick to instructions. For example, you understand that if you watch through the first half, you understand that City had the ball, more of the ball. They were in possession of the ball, but absolutely did nothing with it, because most of the times their ball were with their defenders. Yeah, this structure that they had, when we're not with the ball, our boys need to form what we call a three layers. In the 3 layers. In which the first line you have the 5 players, then you have the 2 players and the 3 players. Sometimes they interchange to 3-2 or 2-3-5 or 5-2-3, just like that. And that was a huge line that this is happening in our own half. In our own half, we graded those 3 layers, making it impossible for the City defenders to even, if you pass the first layer, you have the second layer to pass through before you meet the real defender. So you can imagine that both Kevin De Bruyne, both all their attackers, all of them were all disconnected from their squad. because they're just playing around, and the only way they can actually get you was through runnings and happening maybe they are at attack, they run through that. But when it comes to build-up play, they couldn't even crack that. It was the first time I can see a visible formation that City could not even crack to even break one single line. It was like a waste of the first half for the City players because they could do nothing. And when it comes to an attack, you understand that we are more little when we go to attack. If we had what I've been saying for like more than, I would say, 30 years now, in exaggeration, why can't we have a good conversion rate? Before, I used to think it was Rasmus Holland that is actually really terrible with conversion rate. Garnacho has actually joined the league. Now Zeski is already trying to know he has actually improved, but our front lines are terrible with conversion rate in goals. And now we have our midfielders joining them. Ugarte, like you said, actually joined them now. You even see the series of I would say I don't want to actually call what do you call it, Maguire in this situation, because this game was an improvement from what happened last time. Now, our real problem here in the game is that we couldn't convert. We had the opportunity on 1v1 situation whereby we couldn't have the way to give the precise touch to actually find the back of the net, which is a terrible thing that happened to every one of them. We had the bowlings coming in, we have the crosses perfectly. They were all good, spot on. Dogu was actually on point with his moves, but all of them yielded to nothing because there was no absolute conversion rate, which is a problem for every one of us in this game. So I think it's an improvement from what we were, but subsequently we're going to actually upgrade to this. That's what one thing I know. But for overall the game, it was an improvement from the previous. Apart from the conversion rate that we didn't get, it was a good game. Good game. We could have this on, have some good touches with our players on how to convert and things like that. Everything will be better for us. That's all I have to say for that game.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. It was really hard watch for me, especially when you're doing a watch along and for 90 minutes and you're not seeing the chances being converted. In the first half, I thought to myself, Ultra probably be back just disconnected. In the first half, I thought Manchester United, in terms of conversion rate, I don't think we've done that much going forward. You know, I as usual, Man City would had the possession in that game, as expected. But Manchester United, in terms of what they were doing, it was hard to see. I know, Jerome, people said that, oh, yes, it's a better performance for Manchester United this week, yeah. And especially against Nottingham, we had so many chances, but Nottingham Forest are a counter-attacking team. You expect us to have a lot of chances, but we were unable to convert. But Manchester City, on the other hand, where we had slim chances, I didn't see Edison get tested too tough in the first half. Second half as well, it wasn't the best game. There was opportunities, yes. And then I want to speak about this. Alejandro Garnacho had the best chance in that game from that low cross from Diogo Dalot. And you know how hard it is for Diogo Dalot to get an accurate cross in anyway. Yeah. So for him doing that, it was even hard itself. And Garnacho himself, I don't know what's wrong with him when it comes to being one-on-one. It looked like he either froze at that particular moment because he couldn't get his feet sorted out and stumbled and was unable to finish that opportunity. Garnacho in that game, I'm tired of the I made it attitude, Ronaldo 2.0.
He just doesn't have the composure.
He needs to realize that he has a lot of work to do. And then you had a shot front. And I don't understand why we play with a striker. We might as well just play with 10 men. Because what's the point of having Rasmus Højlund up front where people think, oh, yeah, he was getting himself stuck in and all that stuff. No, he wasn't. He wasn't getting stuck in. He was being put on the floor. Each time he had a good opportunity, he lost the battle. He lost the battle against every defender at Manchester City, whether it's the left back, the right back, the centre back, the two centre backs, even the goalkeeper. He lost the battle every single time. And because of that, it cost us. It cost us in that game. We was unable to score. We was unable to convert chances. And I'll be honest with you guys. Let me ask you a question. Did you think against a midfield of Manchester City who are 30 plus, above the age of 30 plus, was it necessary to have Ugarte and Casemiro in midfield? And I know Casemiro had an excellent game. His stats was fantastic. But we needed creativity. You know, we probably needed Bruno to come back and play with maybe Ugarte and Casemiro and add that Xerxes in that number 10 role to just add that bit of creativity. I don't think it was needed. What's your guys' opinion of that midfield? Because they paid the plus 30-year-olds. Kovacic, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, 30 plus.
I think
legs are tired.
I think Amorim set up the team not to lose. From he put a defensive lineup out, and I think what he wanted to do was not go into the Europa League game this Thursday against Lyon on the back of 2 defeats, because that won't do well for confidence. So I think he just wanted to just maintain the status quo, don't get beat, and see if you can nick a goal on the counter attack. And then if you do, then it gives confidence into the Europa League game. But if you don't get beat, then it's still something to build on. And I think he'll be happy with the clean sheet. And I think his lineup just tells you that it's not his squad, and he doesn't trust the squad to do what he needs them to do. And he's just going to just see out the rest of the game. So I wouldn't expect any more exciting games for the remaining Premier League games. I think he's just basically going to put all his energy into the Europa League. So it was basically said by that starting 11 that he put out. Like when I saw, especially like Højlund up front, I just knew that we were going to be in for a long day in terms of scoring goals. Like the team itself did not scream goals at all, and we're already a team that struggled to score goals. So I wasn't surprised at all. When I saw on my phone that it was 0-0 at half time, I just said, it will either be a 1-0 to someone, or it will just be a done 0-0, and it was just so predictable. But I can't blame him though, because think about how many times we've lost at Old Trafford this season. You can't be just getting beat left, right, and centre at Old Trafford for the remainder of this season. So it's understandable. I ain't even going to complain. Like, the manager just doesn't want to keep losing. Because think about who's beat us at Old Trafford. Bournemouth. Who else? I can't remember. But there's Bournemouth. There's obviously Fulham beat us in the FA Cup. Newcastle. It's almost like I've just tried to just forget about it. But there's been so many defeats at Old Trafford.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
So yeah, he just didn't want to lose, basically.
Now, for that, in the squad, I would think that in as much as we would tend to say that the players are the ones that needs to play the game, I have to still allocate up to 60% of the blame on Ruben Amorim in this case. And the reason is this. Look at this. If you check almost all through those games that we have lost at home, check the formation. Most players are played out of position. If you can take your time and go through each and every one of them. I think yesterday's game was one time I saw that players were actually played out of position and we managed to get a good result, which is a draw. Because tell me, for some reason, that look at the squad that you actually played last time. You're playing Bruno, right wing, and you expect him to still bring the creativity. What happens? Bruno leaves that place, goes deep into the midfield. That's just what happens. And if you look at that situation now, and if you watch the game, you see that angle was actually dead on arrival, having only that long most time running into those spaces. It was dead on arrival. He needs to do the work in the midfield. He needs to be the eyes of the game. But when you lock him out of the game like that, who is going to be the eyes of the game? So sometimes I still blame Ruben in the way he actually moves players around. Yes, I can understand that, like you said earlier, it is not his players. But come on, he has 6 months. 6 months and you still don't have your players? No, we keep giving this excuse that we don't have players. You're not meant to have a total overhaul of players. When you saw this deal to pick up this deal, you saw the players. You know that you're not able to pick up the transfer window. Or are you telling us that you signed up to have a series of L's, and at the end of the day to pick up your team next season? Why don't you wait till the next season before you pick up the team? Because what I can just see now that we're giving excuses for him of which we know that we cannot. No manager will take those lose in this way and will keep calm like this. Ten Hag wasn't this bad at with Ten Hag. Let's be honest. Ten Hag didn't have this series of wins, but the only difference in social with Ruben is that we're seeing some kind of structure. We're seeing kind of a pattern in here. We're seeing that something like he's going somewhere. Let's give him the doubt that the players are not giving him what he wants. Doug, for example, is his first piece in the jigsaw. Is the first piece. Wonderful player. good with the runs, everything, but still bad with the final finish. He's terrible with the final decision of the game sometimes. Many is good with the crosses, yes. He has some kind of decent ones, but didn't go. But when you need him to think out of the box and do something, it doesn't come on. So that's one side apart. Now, it's obvious that those are not his players, and he doesn't have a striker, because remember last time when he played Maino, putting Zeski and Rasmus on the bench. That is a statement that I prefer to play a midfielder with the least goal in my team than to play you strikers. That was a statement. And every day that statement keep happening. You saw where you're putting in Maguire. You know what it means. I prefer to have Maguire up front than have you guys running around. So these are statements that he's actually doing. We're saying all those things to show that he doesn't trust any one of them. Zeski are picked up, and the only reason why Zeski picked up because he's picked up not being number 9. He's good behind the strikers and SS or 8, but not as a number 9. So these are the situations you need to tackle in. And for what you said about our midfield, like he's okay. Having Casemiro right there, Ugarte, you notice that we are only here to defend what we have. We're, like you said, we didn't come here to take any loose. We're not trying to make any special trick. Nothing. Just hold it. If you have a win, fine, but don't lose this game. That's what this game was all about. Don't lose the game. If you notice how disciplined our boys were in the whole defense, they were not making some necessary tackles. They were just keeping it simple. If one person misses it, you surely know that the next person is going to mark it. That's what they do. So when you are one person is going, 2 is waiting for the loose ball. That's why City could not play anything, because once they drive it, the next person picks it up. So it was a good defensive backup plan that he executed to the deal. It was a good. I don't know why people are actually saying not really happy. It was a good execution. Do you know what it means that a team with a high scoring chances was playing like a mid-table team? It shows that it didn't work. They were destabilized. And at some point, it turned out to be a fun show for Pep and Ruben on the sideline. So it was a good win for both of them. It was a good win for both of them. Having a draw, no panic into the next game. They just move on. Nobody's actually running for anything in the table. Like you said, we only hear all about the Europa is where we're actually going for. But for the league, is done and dusted. For now, I stopped checking the table because there's not. All we are waiting for now is see if you can end in the first half of the table. But apart from that, there's nothing we have to for Premier League this season. It's over.
Thank you, Uche. Let me just get to the comments here. Sentiment FC, big up Sentiment FC as well. So I don't think United was able to win the game. I'm glad it ended in a draw. Big up Jack. So Ruben needs a transfer window. Sentiment FC said 2 crap attacks, and it's not all down to the striker. Lack of creators around them and selfishness. And of course, City didn't look like not scoring. United didn't look like winning, but United pressed well, and that's all they did well. I want to just go back to what Uche said regarding the manager coming in. Does he really need a transfer window to show his actual philosophy? Well, we've seen other managers step into the role in other teams and improved what they have. Is this excuse of he needs a transfer window a real excuse for Ruben Amorim? Troy, let me go to you.
Yeah, I think I'm not gonna lie. I think he definitely needs a few transfer windows. I think it's all good saying that. You know what? I think
Did he use
no, he needs a few. Trust me, he needs a few.
A few transfer windows.
He needs a few. Windows means more. That means this summer coming. Oh my God. Well, the one that just went, he only got one player in. That wasn't really
Aiden Heaven and Patrick.
Yeah, Aiden Heaven, but that was just like a bonus from the youth that he got promoted, didn't it? But in terms of like a proper signing, it was Dogu was our proper signing. We went to actually cash out some proper money. But I think he needs a few transfer windows at the minimum. The reason why I say that, because it's all good other managers from other clubs setting up their teams well and getting them to play well, like with limited funds, but the pressures and the standards and expectations is different at those clubs. So when you're managing Man United, like you players come in with talents and expectations, but sometimes they fall under the pressure and don't live up to the hype. So it's hard to get your philosophy going and getting players to perform at United, because that's one thing that I've realised over the years. So think about all the top managers that we've had that have come in. Apart from Moyes, we had Louis van Gaal, we had Mourinho. Oli was just vibes. But obviously we had Ichits come in with a good reputation from the Dutch league, and he played well in the Champions League. These are all top managers that have come in. So there has to be some sort of reason why, like, the squad's not like being able to like fit the way that the managers want that comes in. Because as I said, these managers that I've named, they're all top managers that have won titles. Some of them have won Champions League. So it's definitely a player issue. That's why I think that Amorim is going to need his transfer windows to have a fair chance of getting it into play the way he wants and develop some consistency. Because he came in November and basically changed up the whole system, and we were expecting too much of these players that have only really known how to play one way, which is counter-attacking football, to then change to a back three or force us back five and play with fullbacks that have to run up and down the pitch, which is not what they're used to doing, as being the main focal point of attack. And I just think it was a step too far to not really back him in the transfer window and just allow him to just try and coach his way out of it. So I think he definitely needs backing. I do hope that they keep him and give him a full chance next season, because I think if he gets his summer window, gets a few players in, then you would expect them from last November to next season to have a bit more familiarity with the way Amorim wants to play. And I think we should be able to develop better football next season, more in line with how Amorim wants to play. But the key thing is that we need to just scrap our forward line and just change it completely. If we bring that forward line in next season, it probably wouldn't even matter too much about the players that are brought in behind the strikers, because if we've got strikers that are not scoring goals or not being able to get in the right position and sniff out chances, then he's not going to be challenging for the top six, let alone top four next season. So he definitely needs to get his own players in, because it's not fair to just come in to a strike force that can't score goals and a team that can only play counter-attack. And the Ineos knew full well that Amorim's style was playing three at the back, and it wasn't a counter-attacking style of play.
And do you know what to add to that? If they knew that they were going to go for Ruben Amorim at some point of time, they would have sorted out the signings even while Eric Ten Hag was there. But I'm still of this thought of a manager should be able to improve what he has, regardless, even educate the players to play a type of a way, not to their best of their abilities,
I know what you mean.
To a certain standard that's acceptable to say, oh, he looks like he's took a turn with this new manager. But with Manchester United, do you know what? Any other manager can do it in any other club, but for some reason, Manchester United, you just can't. You can't install your philosophy. And it's a sad thing. It's sad that we have to say that we need his signings for us to see his philosophy shine or be shown up to light. It is sad. It is sad. But let's move on from the manager. Let's talk players, because Bruno Fernandes, another game, another performance, did well against Manchester City, and didn't do too well against Nottingham Forest. But previously, before the international break, he was doing well. Bruno Fernandes, they say they need 11 of him. Do you agree about the Bruno Fernandes? What was your take on Bruno Fernandes' performance against Manchester City? And of course, his whole performance in general. He was March Premier League Player of the Month. Thoughts on Bruno Fernandes?
Okay. For starters, I would say that Bruno has actually done, I would say he has overdone himself at United, as what I've actually expected from him. But the only that is short of his glory is he still has 0 titles with United shirts, which is where all this conversation is having. Based on the numbers I've actually put into the Premier League so far, giving us more than 7.5 point rating every single season. That is phenomenal. I don't think I've actually seen that in a long time by any player in the Premier League. Every single season, you show up a rating of 7.5 and above. So and he's from a midfield, have given you double figures almost every single season. Now, in this situation, you understand that Bruno should be, at this point, he's getting tired. Let me put it this way. He has been there, he's doing it, he's one player of the month. Only him cannot do it alone. We need, like you said, you need 10 of him. I wouldn't agree that, because if we have 10 of him players, I don't think we'll actually perform very well. And that's what is good. And sometimes he has his selfish game. Now, for you to have a midfielder that has so much goals means that your strikers are not having much goals. So it's just the same way that when you have Lampard banging up the goals, then you see Drogba setting up the ball for Lampard to take. That's what happens. When that kind of things happen, the strikers have to suffer. So the reason I also think that we're not really, that midfield, our strikers are really relaxed, because we have somebody in the midfield who is actually ready to do the job for them. They're making them to feel comfortable. If it were the season whereby everybody are playing like them, it's going to be worse than this. He has been one of the best players we have for some time now, but it's time to share his duty. Okay, I said that last time because he's almost 30 now. Yes, he should be 30 now. And
he's going to be 31 in September, I think.
Okay, so
he's already 30, yeah.
Oh, that begs the question. That means we need to right now for someone a replacement right now. It is not becoming an urgent situation, because imagine Bruno in out of our team at this moment. It's going to be catastrophic. So he has been the man doing the whole job all this while, but at some point, I still see that he might also be the problem of United in some areas as well. Because if you look at your style of play, if your midfielders are having more goals than your strikers, something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be always like that. So you are the, if you look at the United team now, he's the only eye, he's the eagle, he's the eye of the eagle in the team. He's the one that sees everyone, the one that gives. If it doesn't give any pass to prove any attack, it doesn't happen. And yet, Ruben is playing him locked in left or side of the wing. So our win is always dependent on how flexible, on how fluid, on how free roll they give to Bruno in that midfield. And that determines how our win is going to be, which is a good thing. But in the other way around, I've seen that the pattern over and over again, and it's always a near miss. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of saying, okay, we need is always look at the pattern every single time. It's always a near miss. So we need to upgrade from Bruno, because his numbers are too good to go to stay all this without no single trophy. The numbers are too good, and I've tried somehow to understand how can we have a player with the highest ball creation in the Premier League, like 2 seasons, and yet our front line does not have the numbers to show for it. Something is wrong. Either the ball are not going well, or somebody's being greedy with it, or something is not just working very, very well. So let's just have a look into that. He's a good player. He has actually surprised. I think that he's now in level with Rooney on Player of the Month. He's now in level with Rooney. That's 5 now. So he has the numbers, but something has to show. He has to show by glory. Apart from that, he will actually go down as one of the best players that actually play United. But without that glories, he might not be named among all those names.
True.
That's just it.
I know this is a very testy conversation. I see you were screwing your face throughout that whole time. Looking a bit like, huh?
I don't know about
your
that.
thoughts on Bruno, his performance against City, and Bruno in general throughout March. He has been named Premier League Player of the Month as well.
You see, when I heard about all this stuff about named Premier League Player of the Month, manager match, and all that, it doesn't come with that much weight when you look at where we're on the table. And the fact that we've got minus sometimes 5 or 6 goal difference or something, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like, we need to do better than that. We need to raise the standards. But in terms of the game yesterday, Bruno actually did, from what I saw, he actually played all right. He kept it simple, didn't do much Hollywood passes or give the ball away much. I think he was just following the manager's instructions, keeping it simple, making sure we don't do anything reckless, and getting the clean sheet as a result and not losing the game. But I think overall, he hasn't been that great this season. Like, I think a lot of people's memories are short when it comes to Bruno. Like, most of the first half of the season, he was poor. Yeah. I think he got like two or three red cards. He was making reckless passes, reckless Hollywood hoofballs. we were just getting battered left, right, and centre, and then ultimately that cost the manager ETH's job. So it's been a handful of games where he's been good. That's why I don't like to overglaze like Bruno's performances. That there needs to be some balance, because when Bruno plays poorly, a lot of people, like the fanboys, they just get quiet. And then when Bruno has a good game and he gets the GA, then everyone starts making a whole heap of noises if like we're top of the Premier League. So we need to have some balance. But the last few games, or I would say probably the last couple of months, Bruno's actually been all right by his own standards. But we need more than that. And there's a reason why he hasn't won any titles at all the clubs he's played for, because we need to have that structural discipline, and we need to play as a team and not as an individual. If we can do that, then we've got a chance of that actually playing to a structured system. So when the manager says that we need 10 Brunos, I'm not sure about that. Maybe if he's to refer to 10 Brunos in terms of like work rate and being a trier and working hard, then yeah, maybe. But in terms of being disciplined and playing the position and helping out his teammates and not leaving them high and dry, then no, we don't need 10 Brunos. But maybe in terms of attitude and desire, if the manager's talking in that sense, then yeah. So
I would like to think that the manager is talking in that particular sense of Bruno Fernandes' passion, work rate, and etc. Big up Ems as well, who said that I ain't convinced by Ruben. This three at the back I can't deal with. I miss us having wingers. Big up Ola as well, football family. Big up to joining us as well. Finally made it as well, man. And before we even move on to the next segment, which is Gary Neville, let's get your opinion on the game against Manchester City.
I think thanks for having me, Ivorian. It's been a long time.
I know.
I understand that. Big up to the partner, big up to everyone. I think the game against Manchester City, the performance was good. I think the performance was good, but then we are struggling to get goals. And I feel like that's the big problem for us right now. We are struggling to get goals. And we saw that against the last two games we played. I think the performances has improved against Nottingham Forest and also against Manchester City. You could see the idea. You can see the players trying to implement what Ruben Amorim is trying to do more. I don't know, but I feel like the goal scoring part of it is where the issue is for me. And I think our attacking options, we have limited attacking options right now, and the ones we have are not delivering. Garnacho has been really poor for me this season. Yes, I am not one that has always seen him like the Ronaldo-X type of player, but then I feel like you can do a decent job without being Ronaldo, without being Messi. You can just do your job of getting in the right position and getting the goals. And I feel like with Garnacho, he's always in the right position. He's always there to just finish that chance. But his decision making has been really poor for us this season as a whole. And in these last two games, you can see how many chances he's missing in the game. And sometimes where he's supposed to pass the ball, he just eats it. And I don't just know. I feel like we need to get goals. And I think this game against Lyon, that's why I'm scared. I feel like the performances in the last two games since after the national break has been good. We've seen better performances, but then the goal scoring part of it has been really bad. And that's just a testament to what has happened all through this season. But something needs to change. And with Ruben, I think I for one, I agree with him sticking with his philosophy and with his style of play. And I think it will work out with time. And even if you watch these last two games compared to the games we played before, you can see the players being more confident in the formation. The understanding of the game now is better within the players, and that can only keep improving. Next season, I feel like we are going to see better. I don't know why I am optimistic, because everything has been bad for United in the last 10 plus years, but I just feel like with Ruben, I just want to give him that chance again, like I've given to other managers. And if it doesn't work out, I'll hold my hand up and say, yes, Mr. Man, you can pack your load and go.
Let's move on to the next segment. Big up to those who are watching right now. Smash that like button, share across all social media platforms. Remember, this will also be loaded on audio platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Podcasts as well. So make sure you guys tune into that. Follow Red United TV on those platforms as well. Let's move it on because, of course, Gary Neville had these words against Manchester United performance, calling it a bit robotic. People saying that football it's no longer the same. It's been lost. But Gary Neville speaking to Sky Sports after post-match coverage of the game, Neville softened his stance somewhat or supported Amorim's switch to a negative style of play, admitting that the manager does not have the players need to make his favorite 3-4-3 setup, which is absolutely true. The guy did speak on it earlier on. Neville said, from a United perspective, I get why he gone back into a low block. But that's what we've seen from Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Erik ten Hag. They've all come in with an intention of playing high pressing, high energy football, but all end up going back to a low block in big games. I do understand why Ruben Amorim done that today with the players he's got, because he hasn't got the players to adapt. They need 5 players straight away before you even think about the rest of it. 3 up front. The 3 up front are not good enough. The 2 wing backs, they're not good enough as well. They need 5 players. They need to serve him with 5 players who are good enough in this system to be able to play his system the way he wants. Gary Neville believes there are 5 players who are not good enough. 3 of them are not up front, are not good enough. We can probably agree, but the 2 wing backs, come on, give Patrick Dogu a chance, man. He's just got here. You don't think so? Gary Neville was a bit harsh. And then we've got the manager as well, who also responded, which I'm going to share the audio clips, about 50 seconds audio clip. You get straight to it. And let me play it for you guys. And then we get your opinions.
Gary Neville is critical about everything, so I understand that part.
Gary Neville was quite critical, I think, in his analysis after the game, saying that both sets of players look too happy with the point.
We are in the moment that we are doing the worst season in history. Manchester City won everything in the past. This season is struggling. You have to look at the context of the game, and I understand the critical aspect of the players that played in this game in a different way, because they were fighting every time for the time.
That is Ruben Amorim responding to Gary Neville, saying that he criticizes everything. Gary Neville saying the 3 up front are not good enough. The 2 wing backs still not good enough. Thoughts on that, guys? Let's open the panel. We'll resume. Who wants to start?
Gary Neville, he's just saying what he says every year. Like, didn't you say that with Mourinho that he's too negative and this and that, and we need to change it? And then he said it with. Well, he didn't say it with Ollie because that's his mate. But he said it with ETH as well, that he went against his own philosophy. And I think it's the club's issue that we're in this predicament, because we had Louis van Gaal, who was the manager that was actually instilling a proper philosophy and playing modern football. But because the board was so eager to win trophies and compete at the top, they scrapped all of that and just went for Mourinho, who's just built on winning. And since Mourinho, we've just kept at that sort of philosophy of just being cautious and playing with that low block. So Mourinho, came in, that was 2016. We're in 2025 now. So we've essentially had 9 years of playing a more cautious, conservative approach. So that's going to take a lot of time and patience to play the way that Amorim wants, because that's a good 9 years of basically negative football that the team's been playing. So you can't just expect Amorim to come in November and start getting them to play the way he wants, when the team's not used to playing that way. So I can see where Neville's coming from, but it's almost like he's just complaining for the sake of complaining, because he knows more than anyone else what the problems are at this club. And like I said, it's just going to need tweaking. Amorim's going to need to bring in his own players, and then we can judge him fully. Just like we judged ETH when he was in his 3rd season and we still didn't see no philosophy. The Amorim hasn't even had a summer window yet. So just give it time and patience, like we've given all the other managers. We gave Ollie 3 years. Mourinho had 3 years as well?
Yeah.
And then basically between 2 and 3 years, Mourinho, Ollie, and Erik ten Hag. They had enough time to instill their philosophy. So we need to kind of give the same energy to Amorim. And also as well about the Patrick Dogle thing. He's only coming in January. We need to give it a bit more patience. He's only 20 years old. He's only had a few games. He's in a new country, new environment. He's going to need some time as well. Because I remember before, even under Fergie, Vidic and Evra came in January, and people were saying to get rid of them and they're rubbish. And now look at them; they're like one of the best left backs and centre backs in Premier League history. So just to put that into context, just give it a bit of patience and don't write people off after a few games, because the criticism that we give players, it should be after a prolonged time before you start judging them whether you think that they're going to make it or not. Like, for example's sake, Hoyland, this is his second season. We haven't seen much from him. You've got enough sample size to show you whether you think that he's going to improve further or not, or whether the progress isn't as swift as we hoped it would be. So, what Neville's saying, I'll just take it with a pinch of salt. Because obviously he's a United fan and he's not happy with the way things are going at the moment. But like Ole said, we just need to just have a bit of optimism for next season and hope that the manager gets backed and the squad as a whole gets more used to how he wants to play for the once they've had the proper pre-season as well.
Yeah. Are you the rest of you guys, are you in agreement with what Gary Neville said, especially highlighting those 5 players? He didn't mention names. He mentioned three up front are not good enough and 2 wing backs are not good enough, but we know who he's talking about.
Okay, so for me, to be honest, I'll say this. Ruben has been given a whole lot of excuses and a whole lot of excuses. Let's be honest. How many players in the Premier League is being given a chance to clear all the players to bring in his own players? No one. And by the time, if you check at the time, like I said earlier on this pod, is when you were given this contract, you saw the kind of players that is there and you took the job. So are you not saying that you knew already that you don't have the players to make the magic and you took it? Then what are you doing? And like you said, you have few transfers for him to make some change. Now, in those 2 transfers, are we going to sit tight and wait till everything is complete before we start to see your performance? We know those times does not happen. So what you have now, what can you do with it? We having 5 players to go is going to be, no, it's not going to work because Rasmus is still on contract. Zeski just got here. So except you're willing to have people sell these players off, they're not going anywhere. So the earlier you start finding a way to move them in your team or be ready to do like Chelsea and leave players out there with money bags on the bench. So the issue with what Gary Neville said, like you said, is normal. This is not the first time we heard that. Every single time, there's always one thing wrong with the team, everything wrong with the team because they are not performing. And I can't give Ruben his excuses. I will go with Gary on this. Yes, there's going to be change that needs to be done. It's going to be a difficult one. Some players obviously have to be honest to themselves and try a new environment. The same way you saw what Anthony is doing right now. You need to go challenge yourself somewhere. You don't have to sit there and wait. No, you've tried one season. I'm saying this because of Rasmus. You had 1 full season with us, and yet that didn't work out. You always like so many games on a goal drought last season. This season again, win 20 games without a goal. Come on. And now, no, there's no way. See, Rasmus have got one of the most luckiest strikers has ever seen in the modern football. That they signed you with as a young player, as a main striker. You are not even battling to come on. It came at a platter, and I guess that's why it's happening like this. You're too young to actually get in the role for Manchester United, and no competition for whatsoever. I've never seen whereby a striker United came in with no competition like that. That is a gift. And yet, for a whole season, that flawed. And that's again that flawed. No. You have to try somewhere else, regardless of a contract. This is time for you to go somewhere else, go prove yourself the same way like McKenna did there. You see, all that Welbeck did that. Or you need to move out. Help the club by moving and not staying there, making it difficult for them to sell and not for them to buy players. When you move out, they're able to have for players. So even the players need to help the club do something because it's not working. You have to try to do something else here. But as for the first line, nobody needs to leave. Dalot, no, come on. I know it's a very difficult time. Dalot, I don't think he should be going anywhere because you keep saying Dalot should leave. If he leaves, he's going to come. So as for those two backline, that's fine. Try to organize the team the way you are. I believe where he needs to have a whole lot of changes is the front line and in the midfield because of the old legs in there. But apart from the other guys, they can actually Dalot can adapt. It's been one of the most. Yes, he has the time, but Dalot has been this. I would say he has been the sacrificial lamb on this team so far this season. He has played from the right, from the left. He has tried. Let's give him because it's not easy. Anywhere you go, you go. And Ruben is the kind of manager that actually rotates players anywhere. You can play anywhere. You have to be ready when it comes to Ruben. You have to be ready to play anywhere. And Dalot has been that player. I don't think he should be talking about Dalot leaving. So those 5 players could be those 2 in front and the partly in the midfield. But the back line, they just came. Come on. They can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
The one thing I have to say about Gary Neville is I love it when he criticizes other managers apart from his best friend, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He has so much energy for the other Manchester United managers, but not his best friend, which is crazy, for him to be speaking like that towards Amorim. I think it's a bit harsh for him to highlight the wing backs, because we don't really have that much wing backs available at this present moment, and we're quite slim up front in the striker's position. And in the 10 position, I think we've got a couple of players.
If I should, I want to chip into what we were talking about earlier. I feel like I understand where Instrumental is coming from, but I still feel like it's still unfair on Amorim. Yeah, every manager or every head coach will back themselves to be able to do a better job than the last manager. We've seen that with all the managers that have come into United. They always believe that these players I have should be able to give me be able to do a better job for me. And all those managers, they failed because when they get there, they realize that these players are not what they seem to be from afar. So I feel like he backing himself and knowing that, yes, I'm coming into this situation. I feel like, okay, I can work with these players to try to get results. I don't blame him for that. But now he's there. We all know, we've seen these players down tools year in, year out. We've seen silly mistakes this season that even you are not a professional footballer, you might not even make that mistake. Some silly errors, some stupid mistakes. We've seen that not just this season, last season, 2 seasons ago, from this same set of players. So I feel like he coming in, every manager. See, I don't think anyone wants to turn down United, no matter how bad we are. That's a dream for every coach to want to coach at the highest level, and Manchester United is the highest level. Yes, we are aware of our current situation. So he coming in and backing himself that, yes, I want to come in. I believe I can do a job with this team. Looking at the squad on paper, we also believe our squad is better on paper than what they are delivering for us. So a coach will believe that this player should be able to deliver better, especially with the playing style and everything. But he coming in, now you are seeing what these players really look like. And that's why I feel like a lot of players, yes, you can go somewhere else and play well. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for Anthony. I'm happy seeing Rashford doing what he's doing at Aston Villa. But we can't sit down here now and lie to ourselves that when Rashford was playing for United, he was giving us the same level of performance, or he was doing the same thing he's doing at Aston Villa. Now, he did that in a couple of games, but he didn't do that consistently the way you need to do at Manchester United or as a Manchester United player. So that's why I don't really agree with people coming and see United are killing players. United is a different level compared to a lot of these other teams. And yes, we've been bad for years. And also, those players are also suffering from the bad environments, the bad system. Yes, I agree with that. But then go somewhere else, do what you need to do, win things if you can win it. And I'm happy for you as a player. But then I want to see my team go to the route of a proper rebuild. I think we've been claiming to want to do a proper rebuild in the last couple of years, but we've done nothing. We have just been wasting money. We're not going to get 50 million, 60 million, 70 million players. And I see people slating Patrick Dogu. In that game yesterday, I think, yes, he made a couple of mistakes here or there, but he still played well. We saw him have a couple of passes, like some cutbacks that we're not able to take. And that chance, which everyone was saying, he should have like shied the ball and it should have been a goal, this and that. if you are a football, if you know how to watch football as a person, you know if you hit that ball too much, he might get injured in that stage because the defender was already there, sticking out his leg. So I feel like, because I saw a page on Facebook and I was seeing comments, people slating Dogu, saying he's poor, he's an average player. That player, he has not spent 3 months in this squad. What of the other players that have been here for years and they are still playing that bad? It takes time. This pattern of play, this philosophy Amorim is bringing in is different to what we've seen throughout as United. We've seen a certain Eritrea play 4 defenders. We were still playing shit. Now everyone is clamoring for him to tweak his style. Maybe he should make it this will be this, that. I don't care. If he wants to stick with his philosophy, I'm happy he does that. And I feel like in 2 years, if it doesn't work out, this same panel will be here to discuss why it needs to be sacked. I don't think anyone will be here backing him blindly. That's the truth. That's the truth. We've done that in the last couple of years, and we will still do it again if it doesn't work out with Amorim. But I feel like it's unfair. He's coming into a worse situation than even every other manager came into. This is a worse situation. So you can't just you can't want to build a house and just come and just without doing the foundation and you want to build a house. It doesn't work that way. It takes time. Then we need to give him that time, the way we're giving other managers. And I feel like it's okay to our reaction is not a problem. It's okay. We are United fans. We are sad. We are pained with the situation our club is in. Now I can't even talk about my club anyhow. Now there's something I can't go to as a United fan, because before I say boom, they will tell me my position. What do you want to say? You get things like that. It pains me. But then I still know that for us to achieve whatever we want to achieve, we need to suffer. This time around, we need to suffer, and hopefully, at the end of the day, with Amorim, the style, if he gets his signing in, hopefully we can see better football. Because if we don't see it, I will be on the air and still telling you Amorim out in a year or two. That's normal. And hopefully, but I just feel like we've suffered enough. We just need to find a solution to this problem. And Gary Neville, he can say all what he wants. We've seen him in instances not saying anything, keeping quiet when he knows that, okay, the person in charge is his guy. He would not talk. Mm-hmm. Now they want to come out and say, Amorim this, Amorim that. This. They understand the situation of the club. They understand what's going on in the club, even more than we. They are seeing everything. They understand it. So you can't just come out and be slagging the manager. Yes, I understand that we all want to win. We all want the best for West Ham United. But you can't pick and choose when to talk. And now they are saying we need 5 players. We need 10 players. We need the whole team out. We need a fresh team. Apart from Bruno, Dogu, there is a new signing, maybe Maino and a couple of young players. We need a proper rebuild, which is going to take time. We can't get 10 players in the next window. It's not possible. So we just need to be patient. And hopefully, I'm just hopeful. The way I've always been. And I will still keep being hopeful because I can't leave United. I don't know where to go to. See me helping a Madrid jersey because I want Arsenal to suffer that pain tomorrow. But still, I will still keep supporting United.
A big up Ola. You know, Ola said one thing that really stuck with me is that we've been intending to have a clear out and we still haven't done it. We're like that guy that's been it has the intention to marry his girlfriend that's been dating for 10 years and still hasn't bought that ring.
Been engaged for like 5 of them.
That's basically us. That is basically us, man. Babe, don't worry, I'll go marry you one day.
Get it
10 years now. Where's the ring, babe? Where's the ring? Don't worry, babe. Don't worry. I'm worrying. We are worried, but big up to everyone that's tuning right now. We've come to the end of the show. I'm just going to go around the team, around the panel, and just get their final thoughts. We've got the Lyon this Thursday. I think we are away, right? We are away.
Yeah,
right?
it's away first
leg.
leg.
France, difficult leg. Manchester United away from home in Europe have been a testament and a struggle this season. So just to get your final thoughts, guys, and also your thoughts on the game against Lyon. I'm going to go with you, Oche, make it to Ola, to Jerome. Final thoughts and thoughts on Lyon.
Okay, on the Lyon game, I would say it's a good time for United to actually stand up and put their foot on the ground and grab that win, because this is the point that you need to have that win coming home, knowing that our Old Trafford is no longer where it used to be. So I think we need to get that win over there, seal the game right there, and not come down, because Old Trafford, I'm scared. All of before, I used to be so optimistic about Theatre of Dreams, but right now, I think our better stronghold is to get a win right there in their home, and then come home and have a normal draw like the way they might do with City. That should actually have the result good for us to the next level.
And of course, I think Ola, you still there or you froze? I think he'll come back. It's frozen.
Yeah,
Jerome, what about you? Final thoughts and the game against Lyon?
Yeah, the final thoughts are on the game that we had yesterday. A draw, can't complain too much because we didn't want to go into the game against Lyon on the back of 2 defeats and 0 goals. So it's crunch time now for the game on Thursday away at Lyon, and the players have got to stand up and be able to thrive under the pressure because our season relies only on this game now. So hopefully we can go there and get a good result. Hopefully get a draw at least to have that as a foundation to take us back to Old Trafford. But I just want to see a goal. We need to score. We can't keep having 0-0s all the time, 0-0-0. Like, that doesn't give us confidence to go on to win the tournament if we just keep having 0-0s all the time. We need to actually start scoring goals now. Obviously, I don't have any faith that Hoyland's going to get the goals for us, but hopefully in this cup run, our defenders and midfielders can chip in with goals, because at the moment our forward line's not helping us out. So we're just going to need to rely on defenders and midfielders to get us goals at the moment.
And defenders.
And final thoughts for Ola and game against Lyon.
I think with this Lyon game, in these last 2 games, I can see that we are playing a bit better. We are creating chances. We are not just taking that chance. And I feel at some point, it's long overdue for us to just get a game that we're going to get goals. And I'm hoping it is this Lyon game, because this game is this is our season. If we lose to Lyon now in this first leg, I think Old Trafford is not Old Trafford anymore. So there's nothing for us to expect any miracles at Old Trafford. So I feel like this game is really, really important. But I feel like we are going to get goals in one. I don't know if it's going to be this Lyon game, but I hope it's the Lyon game, because the chances are there. We are not just taking the chances. And now we need to start doing that. And I don't even care who get the goals, like Jerome was saying. Be a midfielder, a defender, even the goalkeeper, if you can chip in a goal, I don't mind. Anyway, anybody that can get the goals for us now.
No, let's just come up and stop it.
I feel like we need a very positive result going to this Lyon game. I don't mind the 1-0 win. I don't mind even better than that, because I feel like Old Trafford is not the fortress we all claim it is now, and we've been beaten at Old Trafford multiple times. But I think another thing we ask Monoland is we've seen him do better in Europe somehow. I don't know how he does it, but he tends to score goals when it comes to this European game. Maybe he can be able to do that. But this Lyon game is so important, and that's what I'm hanging on. Anyone talking to me now, I'm like, I still have hope for Champions League football. I still have hope of winning a silverware this season. And if that goes, I think that's the end of my season. I don't care whatever happens in the Premier League. I don't care about the position anymore. I'm done. So I feel like this Lyon game, this Europa League game is what I'm holding on to. And I just hope I'm able to get a good result in this first leg at Lyon, and then we can move on from that. And hopefully we are in the semi-final and maybe in the final and bringing home that silverware. So Lyon, please, United, no for my hand, I beg.
For me, my final thoughts, and the thoughts on Lyon first. Let me start off with Lyon. Hopefully, I'm not that hopeful because of Manchester United's away record in Europe this season and last season as well. We've struggled so much trying to get a good, decent result away. But again, you just never know in this European ties. Even though we haven't been playing well in the league, we've actually done well in the Europa League, and we are undefeated in the Europa League. We're the only team in Europe, which includes the Champions League and the Europa League and the Conference League, that have not lost. So let's hope we can go there and get a decent draw or a decent result against Lyon and come back to Old Trafford to finalize and cement a victory and try and go through to the next round. My final thoughts, as always, is Bruno's a scrub. Gary Neville's a scrub. Who else is a scrub? Arsenal, I hope you lose tomorrow. Just to make my day. I will be watching that game. But because every single one of you that's tuned in today, of course, this will be available on playback. And remember, it will be Hala Madrid. And remember, this will be uploaded. This current podcast will be uploaded on Spotify, Amazon, and also Apple Podcasts. So make sure you guys listen on your Apple Music, whatever it is that you listen to. It will be available. The audio platform itself, the audio version itself, is what it is. Back live Thursday. I think 7:45 kickoff for the Lyon game. Europa League. Hopefully, Manchester United can get that win And of course, this weekend, the Premier League game as well. And then we're back live next week, Monday, for the catch-up at 8 p.m. It is what it is. As always, as I say before, remember to keep it united. Remember to keep it Red United. Peace and love from everyone here on this panel. Make sure you follow every single person on their social media platforms and keep supporting the channel and support their channels. We'll leave you guys. Enjoy. Have a good night. We are out. God bless.
Signing out.